Boom.
Cool. So you should be able to, I think, that's what pop up. Let's see what pops up in the thing.
What pops up?
Oh, not there. I would do it back through the studio.
Well, I want to see the thing so we can pull it up.
Yeah, but actually you need to check the studio. Not that. There you go. There you go. See, there we go. We're up now.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about that. I had faith in you in that. I'm trying to get there so we can see who actually sees us so we can talk to them.
Is that working for you?
It's not. Hence why I didn't care about the studio part.
Hit the refresh.
I'm not. I'm gonna hit home.
Okay.
Ha! Ha! See?
Could hit refresh too, I guess.
Nope.
No?
I liked it my way.
Okay, that's fine.
My way was better.
If you say so, man. What's up? We are the News 19 Nerds back again. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
Another edition of Press Play here. We got people slowly coming into the chat. We are fashionably late, as we like to be always.
Are we late?
Yeah, we're just like 9:06. We said it was 9 o'clock.
That says 8:58.
You got to start looking at these, man. You know they're never going to be right.
I don't know why this does not work.
Or why it's not updated?
Yeah.
I don't work in this building, so I have no comment on that. I'm just thankful that Rachel Dell let me back in the building. I'll say it every week. So there we go.
I swear, one day, one day, the physical violence that I threaten you will happen.
It will happen. It will happen indeed.
Because you keep rubbing it in.
Yeah. I guess we should kind of do some banter till we get who we got there so far. Zaylin Maru, we got IMAX, we got Ty Williams. Okay, cool. Hello, fellas. Nice to welcome to the chat. We're slowly letting people coming in here. Let us know in the chat what's going on with you guys this week. What have you been getting? What's gotten you through the week so far this week?
Why does mouse don't want to work? Where does the mouse? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
I'm trying to fix the clock, man. That is bothering me.
I mean, you could do it after the show.
No, I mean while we're waiting.
I guess that's not the. I mean, you would want the world clock, right?
I want to know why the clock isn't updating.
But I feel like you want the world clock.
See, but that's my point. Like that, there's no. Where does it say to update the clock?
I don't know. I don't know indeed.
Hence, that's why I'm. All right. Zaylin Maru said Foundation was awesome. I haven't started a Foundation. I am
not a real fan.
I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm saying the Lord's Prayer. And I know they say that.
Fair enough.
and you are testing my patience.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I have not started it because I actually want to just sit down and just chill and watch it with like a nice alcoholic beverage.
Okay. Season-long daily fantasy football. Man, daily fantasy football.
After my wife goes to bed and I have no responsibilities, the kitchen is clean, I just want to just veg out.
Okay.
Now, if I can just get this clock to work.
I click on my favorite channel and an old man is shaking his fist.
That would be me.
Yeah. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
So Marvel's in a dispute with the Ditko family. Just a small dispute.
Over possible millions and billions of dollars.
Yeah. We want to talk about the future of the Potterverse. Because I got a couple of questions. I'm not a Potterhead.
I'm not either. So I don't.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not.
Sir, have you read
I've seen.
Have you read the books?
Yes.
Have you watched the movies?
I have.
Then you are more of a Potterhead out of the two of us.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's fair to people who are Potterheads. To people who really know the lore. I don't know the lore.
Sir, you are excluding yourself based on gatekeepers when you actually know enough about it to say where the problems lie in the current movies.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do. You know
this is about to be a really interesting conversation, y'all.
Let me tell you why.
Because
you don't care about the recent movies. You've said so yourself.
Yeah.
These movies are not good.
Yeah. But I don't. Okay.
So that's my point is what makes these movies from a person who's read the books and watched the movies, the original set, what is wrong with these movies? And that's where I want to start with our conversation tonight.
This is not going to go the way you think.
Yes, it is.
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
That's okay. So let's start there. What drew you to the original books and movies?
School.
Okay.
I got to slack off and read a book about a nerd and some wizard stuff as part of English.
Yeah, but you kept with it.
Well, yeah, because they were interesting.
That's my point. They were interesting.
Sure.
So you originally started because you were lazy and a slacker, and then you developed.
I read the rules of what the syllabus required, and I was allowed to read those books. I don't think that's a slacker. He shouldn't have put it on the syllabus. That was on the teacher.
Sir, I'm not here to dispute your.
I'm just saying that was on the teacher.
I don't care.
I didn't go up to the teacher and ask, "Hey, I found a rule."
I didn't say you did. All I'm saying is you said yourself it got you out of doing something else by reading the book.
Sure.
So as a slacker,
go ahead.
You kept with it. You didn't. In other words, you could have just read the book and just stopped, but you didn't. Why?
Oh, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I thought J.K. Rowling had an interesting voice in the books, and they're very easily digestible books, and they do a good job overall. I think of the original 7 or 8 books, however many it was, 7, I don't know. Those books do a good job of kind of signposting things that are coming up in later books, and you don't really realize that until you go forward. You'll be like, oh, they're talking about the Dementors now in earlier books before they really matter, like Prisoner of Azkaban and stuff like that. They're talking about Azkaban in earlier books before they get to the actual Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah.
So then the movies came out, and you watched the movies because you told me the story. Someone spoiled the fact of, spoiler alert, guys, if you don't know this, Dumbledore dies.
That wouldn't spoil for me.
I thought it was spoiled for you in one of the books. Oh no, it was Snape.
No. It wasn't spoiled for me. It was spoiled for somebody else who was going out there. Because it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't spoiled in the movies because it already happened in the books.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when you went to buy the book, because you bought the books.
Yes.
And you told me a story.
Well, just one book.
So you bought a book. That lets me know that you can't actually read.
Audience, that wasn't necessary because we had already established that I could read because I had to do it in English class. So he had to come to me with that. Go ahead with your question, sir. Now you have a hostile witness. Go ahead.
Hostile work environment. So you read the books. You enjoyed the books. You enjoyed the story. And then you watched the movies. And you enjoyed the movies because you have repeatedly told me, read the books, watch the movies. Even as my wife has tried to convince me, and I've actually watched the movies. I've watched all of them. Not sat down and watched them all the way through. Like I've watched them because when they come in TNT, or
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I think they're on HBO Max right now.
Yes, they are. All movies on HBO Max. So I know like the beats. I don't know exactly what happens.
Sure.
So, this is not a exaggeration. They captured the world's attention.
Sure.
This story, Harry Potter and the Wizarding world, took over the world. It spawned. It's part of the. Would you call it a YA novel?
That's a good question.
I'm asking because is it part of the YA genre?
I don't know. And I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to say because I don't read enough YA novels. As somebody who's just like on the periphery, I'd say sure. I feel like it hits some of those same beats, but I don't know I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I would say yes, but if somebody said no, I wouldn't fight them on it.
So when you heard that they were doing the Fantastic Beasts, what was your opinion of
the very first movie?
Before you saw the movie, when you heard that the story's being continued.
When I heard that they were going to do Fantastic Beasts, I thought this could be interesting. It didn't dawn on me that there was no source material before. I think we've learned now these movies tend to do better if there's a book written first. The movies on themselves, in terms of all the Fantastic Beasts movies, aren't good. They kind of just meander and go nowhere. I wonder if, and somebody else brought this up too, they had wondered if a book was written first and then they based a movie off of that, if it would be a better story. I don't know.
So,
Also, J.K. Rowling appears to be a trash person now. We didn't know that before when the first book came out.
Well, she didn't have Twitter before, so.
That's true. Twitter has revealed a lot of trash people.
I mean,
social media has revealed a lot of trash people.
Some people suspected.
Yeah, I mean,
and they've gone back and read some of her stuff, and they're like, there were signs, but she literally was
know.
like,
Yeah.
she was like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The reason why I bring all of this up is because a lot of people were excited for the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. And when the movie came out, it was mixed, and people were very wary of the fact of you were setting up an entire quadrilogy. Quadrilogy is 4, is it 5? Or is it
Quad is 4, quint would be 5.
So quintology?
Quintilogy. Sure.
So how are you going to get 5 movies out of this idea? A lot of people were very wary of that. Mm-hmm. And also very wary of the fact of J.K. Rowling did not write the scripts for the movies themselves. She wrote the books, and then someone adapted her books to a script.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think the problem lies, besides the fact that she's in charge of writing these? Is it because...
I think as an author, she knows how to get her point across over the span of 200, 300, 400 pages. But when you try to condense that down into whatever a movie script is going to be, it doesn't work in the span of 2 hours. So it seems like a lot of these ideas and thoughts aren't fully fleshed out. And again, as somebody who's a layman over here, it seems like she doesn't have the experience of getting those ideas in a succinct manner in a movie, as opposed to getting all the time in the world in a book.
Do you think she's done?
Done with what?
Do you think part of the problem is the same problem? Because this is what.
Oh, like she's like creatively bankrupt?
No, what I'm saying is, they planned 5 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they planned the first movie and then they were like, okay, let's sit down and write the second movie? In other words, was there a timeline?
Who knows?
At beginning, middle, and end? Because the reason why I bring this up, and I'm starting to see something that I don't know if people realized this before.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter is starting to become what happened with Star Wars. And the fact of George Lucas had an original idea for 9 movies. He did the first trilogy he did was episode 4, 5, and 6.
Sure.
Came back and did 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone picked up 6, 7,
You'll
7
figure numbers. Go ahead.
Good one. 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Maybe if I'd read more Potter books.
Maybe. I don't know. Go ahead.
It seems to me that the movies, and a lot of people's criticism is that these movies aren't done, they're not polished,
mm-hmm.
and they're trying to backdoor a way to make these prequels to the Potterverse books she originally created.
So,
and I bring this to you to say,
as somebody, well, going back to your first, as somebody who doesn't really care either way, I don't think that there's going to be so many tie-ins that we're going to see the beginnings of things for Harry Potter. I think this is Grindelwald, however you want to say
Grindelwald.
Yeah, Grindelwald and Dumbledore's story, I think, overall. The third movie is called The Secrets of Dumbledore. I saw a headline somewhere that said nobody really cared about his secrets, which I'm like, I mean, to be fair, no.
But what secrets does he have left?
That's an interesting idea, right? Because in the present, we would have already seen or known the secrets. So we're going back in the past. It's like, we should already essentially know what the secrets are, so why are we going back? I don't know. I do like Jude Law as Dumbledore. I like Jude Law overall. So I'll go see the movie.
And that's where I guess I'm asking you, because you've read the books. You at least know part of the lore. My question is, as you watch the movies, you think that they are not particularly good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it as an outsider. And to me, there are so many different more interesting parts of the Wizarding World universe. Why this story? And I guess I ask you, was there from other Potter nerds that because you went to Universal? Have you been to Universal yet?
No, haven't seen it.
So I've been to Universal.
I know
it is massive. It's like Harry Potter Park is one park unto itself.
Sure.
Just on these books. Was there a clamoring for a prequel for Dumbledore? Was Dumbledore that pivotal of a character?
And see, so people who have watched the Fantastic Beasts movies and know it better than me, who is the character that Redmayne plays? Because I can't think of his name. Thank you, Newt Scamander. Okay, so couldn't remember because I don't care.
But that's, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. You cared about the original movies. You watched them.
The reason why is because I read the books. But I think it's the same. You read the Dune book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you watch the movie first, or you read the book?
I saw parts of the movie, didn't understand it, went back, read the books, and then watched the movie and was like
a true nerd.
I mean, if you want to label it like that.
It's like a nerd. Like a nerd, ladies and gentlemen.
If you want to label it like
I rest my case. Anyway. I
don't know why I'm being attacked. I don't.
That's what we do here. We just attack each other. Yeah. Like an old married couple. So, to me, I think it's important that if you're reading the source material, you will generally care more about whatever comes afterwards for the movies or whatever. So, I think it goes back to maybe if she had written the books and that people were able to read those, then people would care more about the movie and they'd be able to digest the movie or parse the movie out better, I think.
Well, see, the reason why I asked that is because David Cooper points out he did not read the books and enjoyed the movies.
Sure.
I guess my question was to me it seems to be, from an outsider, the Potter verse is about to make the same mistake the Star Wars movies did, or Star Wars property did,
mm-hmm.
and they're finally, to me, righting the ship a little bit by expanding the Star Wars lore outside of just this one frickin' thing.
Yes. And a world so big, it's always about the Skywalkers.
And that is my point.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, or what I'm asking, and I'm putting to you as someone who's
do we need to go away from Dumbledore and everybody else?
Yes. And in other words, and what could we do? Because here's the thing that I'm noticing. Regardless of where you stand, people have issues with the last three movies in the Star Wars trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The culmination of the adventures of Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie. People have problems with those movies. And I go ahead.
I'm just thinking of the article I read on IGN. I'm sure other people had it about Lucas's ex-wife.
Yes.
She was pissed at those movies.
And so
I'm like, man, she was going in hard.
And see, this is the thing. And this is, again, what I'm wondering is, and I wondered, like, what is this animosity towards these movies,
mm-hmm.
these last three? And then I remember there was this animosity for the first three movies. Anything that wasn't the original trilogy, people are like pitchforks and
I don't know. I'm sure people in this chat have seen it, but there's a good documentary, probably on Disney Plus. I'd imagine some other places that, like, when Star Wars Episode 4 came out, people did not like it. Like, the general consensus was it wasn't like a home run in terms of critical reviews.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, you know.
I mean, as far as critically, people hated it.
Yeah.
As far as the actual viewing public, it was a hit.
Yeah.
So the thing that would interest me was, I understand why people did not like the last three movies, because it didn't seem like they knew where they were going, and each movie was its own whatever. Mm-hmm. And I figured out, because people did not get to see that journey of Luke, of Leia, and Han like they wanted to see in Mandalorian. In other words, they never got the badass Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi.
Sure, it was in episode 8 of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
That's what I'm saying, and so they never got that.
Yeah,
and so I get why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't get is why Universal hasn't learned from the mistakes of looking at the Star Wars.
Warner Brothers, not Universal.
No, I thought Universal owns.
They just have the theme park. Warner Brothers owns Harry Potter.
You're right. Why
Warner
Brothers hasn't figured out watching Star Wars implode, explode, up and down.
You know why? Because rich people are oblivious to stuff. But that's another topic. Yes.
What I'm saying, yes. I'm saying creatively,
and not just say rich people, but people at higher ups, the non-creatives, they don't know.
That's why you should hire us.
Yeah, that's exactly why you should hire us. Friends of the show, rich creatives. People. Yes, rich people.
Friend of the show, rich people. And we'll get to some of you other people, rich people, later.
Yeah, but in terms of, like, your higher ups and your execs, they don't really know unless they were growing up in it. i.e., for example, Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing, but we've talked about on the show before. He was like a PA or production assistant or whatever
he worked
on like the Fantastic Four movies
X-Men
and the
movies.
X movies.
Yeah.
So he's like, these are okay, but they could be better.
Yeah.
He was a fan. Most of the people who are running other stuff, they're not really. I mean, they say they're fans.
And so that's why I said it's so interesting that the Wizarding world has so many different enclaves or different things within this world that would have lended itself to exploration, like Star Wars has finally figured out.
Mm-hmm.
If you move away from the Skywalkers, or knew exactly how to tell that story, because perfect example is Clone Wars wasn't as beloved as it is now.
Sure.
When it first started, people hated Ahsoka. People did not like. At the end of it, I know people who cried during the show.
I think it's the thing we talked about. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Well, I think it's the thing we talked about before. People hate change overall, though, right?
Sure, they hate change, but I think part of the problem is that, and some of the people brought it up. You have Dave Filoni, who has understood, who sat at the right hand of the master George Lucas, digested that, and then was able to explain what George Lucas was trying to do with the first couple of movies. When I mean the first couple of movies, I mean episode 1, 2, and 3. Where is that person for Warner Brothers with Harry Potter? Because here's the thing. Dave Filoni's the reason why we have Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian.
All the stuff spin off. Yeah.
All the stuff that's spin off.
Yeah.
But it was George. Again, regardless of how you feel, George Lucas is the person with other people who Lawrence Kasdan, his ex-wife, who helped create this world. But it was George Lucas's idea. Who is that person who's going to help?
I think if you go ahead.
I guess is that what they need to do to say, hey, JK, let me get this Twitter handle from you, and here's Jane. Jane's gonna sit down with you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say some stuff.
Yeah.
Jane's gonna write it all down. Then we're gonna take that stuff.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try to fix it.
So here's an issue that you have. You have George Lucas, say whatever you want about him, creative genius, whatever. Maybe he needs to have supervision, all that kind of stuff. Same thing, people, but whatever her stances are in terms of being a transphobic person, all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about purely in terms of writing Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Before people knew that, people enjoyed Harry Potter. People loved
Harry Potter. And she created an entire movement.
Right. So, but that was all on her own. When George was working with his thing, in terms of making movies, there were other people around him.
Yes.
Her being an author, a sole creator, and whatever, for the most part, I don't really hear about other people who helped usher in the Harry Potter.
True.
It was always her. So I feel like even though George Lucas created Star Wars, there were still other people around him at the beginning. I don't know that there was anybody around JK at the beginning. So you don't have those people who are going to be like, oh, I can help you do this. Because tying it, now I'm just going everywhere. Somebody brought up earlier, the thing that helped Star Wars is other people got involved, other people wrote stuff. Like you said, Dave Filoni and all that stuff. I don't know who that could be for Harry Potter, because it seems like JK, she says some wild stuff and she don't back down.
Well, I guess
so. I don't feel like she's going to let anybody come in and.
But here's the thing. I guess for the books, that's fine. But I'm talking about the movies. Where is that person Warner Brothers can say, "Hey, we're going to sit down with you because what you created it's wonderful. You set the standard. You literally changed the world. However, your take does not fit because her books were great." I'm not taking anything away from her, J.K. Rowling, if you want to invest in the News 19 nerds.
Well, no, sorry, not friend of the show. Won't do that.
Really?
Won't do that.
Won't take J.K. Rowling's money?
First, not friend of the show. No.
Oh, wow, that's the first not... J.K., I'm sorry.
No.
We
are fundamentally, diametrically opposed foes.
We are...
To borrow lines from Hamilton.
We are not allowed to take money from you.
Yeah,
However, if you would like to donate to our favorite charity, which is the News 19 nerds...
Yes, you found the loophole, sir.
I'll set up a non-profit for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But is it possible that because of the movie, someone could say, because the movies weren't great just because of J.K. Rowling. They were great because other people took the source material and adapted it for the medium. And I think somebody in the chat brought that up. They actually took her original idea and then were able to adapt it so that more people could get the story. And so where is Warner Brothers in that aspect? Because this Dumbledore, Secrets of Dumbledore, whatever, when Fantastic Beasts came out, I took my wife to see it. Her and my sister, because they're Potterheads, they went to go see the second movie. When I told Katie that the third movie was coming out, she was like, Yeah. And I was like, whoa. And it caught me off guard. And for people who love Harry Potter, they all feel that way.
But see, there's a combination of things, right? You have the issue of the movies not being good. Also, with J.K. Rowling being a trash person, I think takes a lot too. George Lucas, as much as he ain't a trash person,
he's not.
So far, he ain't said anything. At least, nope, it's not on record.
Not on record.
That social media has come for him yet. So I mean, I think that helps in his corner. With J.K., that game is coming out next year.
Yes,
people have wanted a Harry Potter game forever.
Yep.
And she started tweeting.
And we have had Harry Potter games.
Sorry, good point.
They wanted an MMORPG
type of, you create your own character type of thing. They wanted that. They're finally getting that in this game. It looks cool, but a lot of people are like, I don't want to play this.
Yep.
And it sucks because...
Well, not only that they didn't want to play it, the game developer had to come out and say, she has no part of this game. Yeah. And that is the first time I have ever heard such a renowned author and someone has said, this person has no attachment to the property that they created. This is totally separate. Please do not attribute her things to us. And they were very blunt about that.
And she may not have written anything for the story, but you can't tell me she's not making profit some kind of way.
Oh no,
which sucks because the people who worked on it, it's horrible.
And so my question is, where should they go as far as the universe? Because I think Star Wars has finally figured it out, and I think they've had some bumps in the road. And I will never say you shouldn't say. We live in America right now. I don't know about tomorrow.
Where's this conversation going?
I'm just saying, if Tegna opens a London branch, I might apply.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind living abroad again. So,
okay, cool.
Star Wars had some bumps in the road. I'm not. George Lucas's ex-wife is free to say whatever she wants to say. It's not for me to tell her to shut up or keep talking. But Star Wars has finally figured it out. They got rid of the expanded universe so they wouldn't be tied, and they've been able to pull and choose and cherry pick what they want to do. I think some of the best things that Star Wars has given us outside of the massive movies that they work. I love Rogue One. Rogue One is my favorite movie outside of all the new movies.
Okay.
Outside of the original 3. Rogue One is my 4th favorite movie.
Okay.
And I actually like it a little bit more than Return of the Jedi. Yeah. I love Rogue One that much.
Y'all can at him.
I do.
All right. Cool.
I say that because the things that people love about Star Wars now is the stuff that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers. Right. And people are enjoying that. Where should the Wizarding World go? In other words, should they go to a different school? Because there's 4 schools, correct? Or four. Hold on. The Sorting Hat decides what you are within
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So, and how many schools are there?
Who knows? Harry Potter people, let me know. Is Katie gonna join us possibly?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything disrespectful.
Okay, yeah, ask Katie because I'm sure she could tell me. What I can say, what I remember is I know at least 2 other schools. I know there's more, but I can think of at least 2 others, right? And the one with all the ladies, because I'm remembering the movies when they did the Tri-Cup Wizard Tournament or whatever.
Well, see, I'm
sure there's a bunch of other schools.
Well, and that's my question. Where should right there, BP. That's my question. Should you take and do a movie just about the Ministry of Magic?
Sure.
Should you do a movie just...
I would love a movie about horrors.
See, and that's...
Those are space wizards, folks.
And that is my question.
Yeah.
I loved the introduction, and I'm not a Potterhead. I don't even know all the movies. But when the introduction of that Russian school showed up, and them dudes came out with those outfits, and they were dancing, and I was like, I felt, and I was watching everybody like, and they were just killing the game, and I was like, yo, who are those people? Mm-hmm. Why have we not seen more of these other? I'm not following that up. I see that. The ministry,
Bravo.
the ministry SVU. So
I love it. Yeah.
So Dick Wolf should take over
Yeah.
and do the ministry.
Yeah.
The ministry, and then so will they have like a, instead of like the dum dum, the doors, the jail doors closing?
Yeah.
Will it be like a wand?
Maybe a little noise, something. Yeah.
So I guess that it should they. David Cooper brings up, what do we think about Visions? I haven't watched Visions. The goal is for me and Grace to review and talk about Visions next week. But that's my point. Where is that stuff in the Potterverse where you go in different genres? Star Wars has The Mandalorian. We have all these different shows coming up. They have the new comics, The High Republic. That's 400 years before the Skywalkers. Where should they go next?
You are making very valid points. Chat is just going ham, and I love it.
What?
Just like they're doing like the
crimes of wizarding.
Yes, and just BP crimes of wizarding nature are considered especially heinous. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
But I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Is that where they should go?
I don't know. We're never going to have an answer. I think the answer is there are so many different avenues they could go. Unfortunately, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like it's all tied up to JK. So maybe there are other people who want to write stuff, but maybe they can't contractually. Because JK's like, no, I'm going to write everything.
Because my thing is, why is there not an animated show in the wizarding world? Like, that is bonkers to me.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, was that written by JK?
I think so.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Is that the play?
That's the play.
Yeah, that was written by her.
Okay, see.
And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, why is there not? And I understand the movie. A lot of people, because it was said in this chat, the 5 movies that are now supposedly coming out. It seemed like a cash grab, and I don't think JK needs any more money. Mm-hmm. But as far as the expansion of the actual universe, do people want that? Do people need that? Because look, each one of these budgets we've looked at it, is right around $200 million, mm-hmm. right?
According to IMDb.
So we've got fantastic. So which one was that? The Crimes of Grindelwald. That came out in 2018. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to 2016. Was when we people fell in love with Newt Scamander. Right up there. Little 20 million less than 200. Almost $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why we have not taken this universe to the next step. And I guess my question is, does Warner Brothers need to actually take?
I don't think they can. We've talked about this for 20 minutes now. I don't think they can. That's the answer.
I guess my question is,
and you know why I don't think they can? Because they keep trying to do stuff with DC. They've tried so many ways to reboot DC with comics and movies and all that stuff. Why haven't they done it with the Harry Potter stuff? Because they probably don't own it.
You know what the sad part about it is?
What?
They own the characters DC and can't get it right.
Yeah.
And they don't own this and they can't seem to get it right.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I feel like that answers your question, right? The stuff they own, they can't get right. You think they can get right stuff they don't own? Nah.
I mean, you raise a good point.
Yeah.
Does she have too much of control so that you cannot do anything outside of what she has already wanted to do? That's a good question in the chat. Does anybody in the chat know how much control she has over Harry Potter as far as going forward, as far as the expanded universe? Mm-hmm. That's a very good question. I just don't understand how the Harry Potter world is just confined to these books and these movies.
We'll be here all day if we let Leroy keep going. Move next topic.
Speaking of creative rights, because the reason why I brought up Harry Potter and what happens when companies own characters, yada yada yada. This is a sensitive subject for me.
So there's a quote. It's from a movie that
Yep.
we all love, the original Iron Man. Obadiah Stane?
Yep.
That's his name?
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember. Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Obadiah Stane said it. This is what he said. Let's see. I'll find it. You go ahead.
Well, no, I want you to get...
Well, the quote, it kind of goes into what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There we go. You really think that just because you have an idea it belongs to you? Your father, he helped give us the atomic bomb. Now, what kind of world would it be today if he was as selfish as you? That is kind of the stance that Marvel is taking with these people who created these ideas.
Well, that's the stance Marvel, and not just Marvel. DC has had taken this.
Yeah.
So right now, something huge dropped today. So we didn't know this, but according the story was wrote by the Hollywood Reporter, Eric Gardner. Blockbuster lawsuits filed today will decide the future ownership of characters including Iron Man and Spider-Man. The article goes on to say, Disney's Marvel unit is suing to hold on to full control of the Avengers characters, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Falcon, Thor, and others. The complaints which the Hollywood Reporter has obtained comes against the heirs of some of the late comic book geniuses, including Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Gene Colan. The suit seeks declaratory relief that these blockbuster characters... Where's the rest of my... I did not ask for it to be printed this way.
You ain't got to read the whole thing.
I'm just now mad that it just deleted. Like, I'm missing a page. It didn't print everything.
Cool.
But basically, the whole idea is these people worked for Marvel as a work for hire situation. Marvel has done this for years. A lot of companies did this. DC has done this, and they're suing.
This is why Image exists, right? Kind of because they're like, we want to own our stuff or whatever.
Well, kind of, yeah, kind of no.
Okay.
So, the greats are the people who created these characters, work for the company, and the idea was that they created these characters and the company owned them. There were disputes back and forth on who actually created the characters and then who actually owns them. We've saw this before with the Schuster family against DC and ultimately Warner Brothers. They eventually lost that case. Now this same type of case is being brought to the forefront because of how these companies have treated creators who create these characters. I love Marvel. I love the characters they've created. Comics help teach me to read and be a better reader. I love Marvel. I love everything that they have brought and given us. However,
drop it on them.
F Marvel. When it comes to creators' rights,
yeah,
you have made enough money to break these people off.
Yeah.
And the argument can be made that these people did not understand when they created these things, they did not realize that they would not be able to own them or be able to get royalties from them.
Sure.
And this is something that has been a fight that has happened for decades. I don't have too much sympathy for Marvel or a multinational company who has taken the hard work of these people and not done right by them when they turn these properties into movies or whatever. I'm not saying that you should... I don't know the legal case as far as making that determination of, yes, they created, they should own them. I don't know.
Right.
What I will say is that you don't... And engineer goodwill when you have people who you are actively working against. Marvel right now, there's a case of some of the people who've written books for Marvel, and they are not trying to even pay the royalties that they agreed to pay. Ken from Shows says they signed contracts.
They did sign contracts.
I will say this: some of the contracts were signed, some of them were not signed. They work for hire.
What would you say to the argument that even though these people created them, these studios took them to heights that the creators by themselves would never be able to do?
I would say partially that's true. But I would also say you do not engineer, and again, I say this and I keep saying it, you do not engineer goodwill when you do not take care of your employees. Because here's the problem that Marvel has continued, and not just Marvel, the comic industry itself has not done a good job of. Make them employees. Because here's the thing, Marvel could afford to hire comic writers, artists, and give them benefits, pay them a decent wage. If you go on Twitter and you follow comic creators, and I'm not talking like Mark Miller, I'm talking just regular people who want to make a living doing this. They don't pay them a living wage. They pay them page counts, they pay them a certain amount of money. That is why, like you said, let's spring forward. The only reason why we have Image is because of the terrible treatment that Marvel had for their top creators. The 90s, the literal reason why we have Image Comics is how terrible Marvel treated those guys. And it goes back to that thing that you were saying. Rich people don't care because they're oblivious to this. If you had treated these people better, you wouldn't have these problems or these situations. Go back and look at friend of the show, Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting. Go listen to go talk to them and listen to the interview they talk about when they created the Winter Soldier and what has happened since then. How they feel about that.
For me, I think for the people who are saying that these are the company's rights, I mean, technically, I agree. If you sign a contract, you do sign a contract. If you don't understand it, that is up to the person who signed the contract. So I agree with that. But I do think it is a thing of a goodwill thing of taking care of these people. And again, you do make so much money off of this stuff. Everybody can eat. There's enough that everybody can eat, and you can still be filthy rich.
And to the people who are saying, and this is why I understand where you're coming from, the reason why this is big is because Marvel is big. No. This fight has been happening since 2013. This fight has been happening since the 90s. This fight has been happening for decades. It's not something brand new. That's part of the reason why, go listen to our interview with Sanford Green. When I asked Sanford Green why he decided to work and do Bitterroot and he stopped working for Marvel, he was saying, legacy, control of my characters, because I own it. I don't get to make something for you and then you pat me on the back and say good job and then turn that into a billion-dollar industry based on my hard work. And I can appreciate that.
Ken from Chicago brings up Leroy Mike, what about the estates of creators, relatives trying to get money after the creators die? Do they deserve a cut of the profits? I don't know. I think that's a good question about estate law. To quote Charlie Day, I only know bird law. I only know bird law, so I can't talk about estate law. But I mean, I think you raised an interesting point, Ken from Chicago, about who deserves what after people die. I don't know that Marvel owns those rights any more than their family does. Because who's to say that those creators didn't want those rights to go back to the family? I don't know.
This is what I will say about if you're saying a contract is a contract. Ask Alan Moore how he feels, and BBP brings up a great point. Ask Alan Moore how he feels about contracts and why he left the industry. Do you really think it's because Marvel is big now? Alan Moore wrote and created The Watchmen with Dave Gibbons. The contract was, we will get the rights revert back to you. DC said, nah, and as basically has not fulfilled their end of the contract and put a loophole in it so that they could never get the rights back. And then in turn has taken it and made buku's amounts of money.
Sure.
It gave us one of the best shows, I think, in television history, Watchmen. With Mama That's a Man, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, because it was cold. Regina King, who almost broke me with her fight against I almost said something. The Eye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Watchmen. I didn't necessarily love the original Watchmen, but you see exactly how these corporations handle certain things when they could have done so much better.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I have with this. They could have easily said, hey, let's settle this, let's sit down, let's mediate this. And this is why I say, man, deuces to Marvel. Because
Friends of the show Marvel.
Friends of the show Marvel. Kevin Feige, We Again, nonprofit.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling, we won't take your money.
And I wonder, we talk about Kevin Feige, but he's just like Marvel Studios. So when we say Marvel, is Kevin Feige part of this lawsuit, or is it like the people who are running Marvel?
It's people who are running Marvel itself. He may be in charge of the studio thing.
Yeah.
This is, I don't think they're going to win. Everybody
who is they?
I don't think the creators, the heirs of the creators, are going to win.
Probably not.
The way this thing has gone before, they have lost every single time.
And the same lawyers who battled before, the same lawyers again. Before.
That I don't think is going to happen. The problem that I have with this is, and if you are an executive who happen to watch the show, our PayPal and Venmo, we'll put that in the comments.
BBP says, but the families of the states did not create nothing, though. You make a great point. They didn't. And I totally get that. They didn't create anything. The argument could be made. They're just trying to make money off of their whoever the proprietor was, the patriarch was before, who created it. But I mean, who's to say that person didn't want that money to go to the family?
And see, this is why I cannot say that I, in good conscience, I don't side with any huge corporation when it comes to this, because love or hater, Scarlett Johansson is dealing with this right now.
Sure.
Disney, Marvel, whoever you want to say, could have easily slid that woman a check and said, hey, we made some money. We decided to put this movie on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Here's the right thing to do. Nah, Marvel said, F you, F your
Disney
kids.
Said that. Not Marvel. Disney.
Well, you're right.
Right, but I mean, when she specifically listed Disney as
Disney said, F
Marvel.
you, F your kids, F the grass you walk on, F the air you breathe, and then basically called her a money-grubbing woman. Put all her business out there, and then turned around and did not put the next couple of movies on Disney Plus, which essentially, to the layperson, proves her point.
Yeah.
You could have easily wrapped that up. And so if they're willing to do that to Scarlett Johansson, who had a contract, I'd hate to see what they did to these creators back in the day, currently, to the point where 7 people had to get together at the height of their career to form Image Comics, a company for creators. And that's where I look at this.
Yeah.
And that's where, when it comes to this, and people are, ranting and raving, saying these people are money, whatever, I understand where you're coming from. However, think about it from that point of view. That's where I'm coming from. And Ryan Porter brings up a good point.
Oh, Prince.
Look, Prince did not want any of this stuff. Do you think Prince wanted his music on a commercial?
Yeah.
Do you want to know why Jet Li, was it Jet Li?
I don't know where you're
turned down in The Matrix?
Oh, I don't know.
Remember when they wanted Jet Li to be in The Matrix?
Vaguely.
You know why he turned it down?
Why?
Because they wanted to capture his fighting moves and digitally capture and have his images on file so that they could use it for later. Same thing they did with, remember, what's the movie that they made and had with James Dean?
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The same, and that's where I'm with. That's where I'm with this when it comes to these multinational corporations. I don't know where the family, if they're good people or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know this, and this is something that was told to me by a lawyer when I was doing a story, and a lawyer literally told me this, and I wish I remember his name. The law is not about what is morally right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It is about what you can prove is right and wrong.
That lawyer was Charlie Day.
It was not Charlie Day.
You don't know that for sure?
I do know it was not Charlie Day because I never interviewed Charlie Day.
Cool.
I know it was not Charlie Day.
Okay.
And that's, yes, Brian Gamer, that Jet Li movie, James Dean movie did come out, and it was Jet Li. Thank you. That's where I come down on these things. We have seen time and time again defending corporations who do, regardless of what Mitt Romney has said, corporations are not people. I have never seen a corporation on death row. I've never seen a corporation arrested. Mm-hmm. I have never seen a corporation picking up litter on the side of the road.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not on the side of Marvel in this one. And call me a weirdo, whatever term you want to use. I just look at it and I say, the creators deserve something.
Yeah. And for me, I don't know. I think I probably would side more so, and I think it's more of the underdog little person that I'm siding with them more than the creator or more than the companies. Having said that, it's not like I'm going to stop seeing these movies and not support these things.
And that's where
because I would say you vote with your dollar. I'm still going to support them. So I could, if somebody said I'm part of the problem, I would agree.
But again, I guess that's my question in all of this. Where as nerds and as fans, where do we fall in this? Because this is a great conversation, because a friend of mine posted on his Facebook page about after the year 1999, a ton of movies came out. Like 50 movies came out, and then he listed from IMDb what the movies were that came out. And he was like, ever since the superhero movies came on the scene, we've seen a gluttony of just Marvel and DC and whoever, just movie after movie sucking up the box office. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, you're mad at the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. Marvel and Disney just figured out the formula. Once they figured out that original IP is hard to sell. Mm-hmm. Once Disney and Marvel figured out the Marvel method for a franchise and blockbuster, they were printing money with these comic movies, because we as consumers do not normally go to movies for
YouTube is doing it to your content.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Nope. And I told him, I said, you're mad at the wrong thing. I said, once Marvel figured out the blockbuster formula, mm-hmm. they ran with it. But this formula existed ever since the actual model of the movies and how movies were released changed. Once they realized that the theatrical window was shorter, once they lobbied for more money at the box office the opening weekend, mm-hmm. that cut out independent movies. Where should we vote with our dollars? Because I don't want to stop seeing these Marvel movies. I still buy Marvel comics. I love Watchmen, but then I also did not like what DC did to Alan Moore. Mm-hmm. And that's a question I asked the community, where should we stand with this?
Who knows? We don't have the answers, folks. We're just throwing stuff out there so we can all argue about it. And
we're starting a conversation.
And actually are things, but because I think it's just fun conversations.
It is, but I honestly don't know, because I like seeing what happened to Joe Shuster and his family. And BP, you're right. Nerd used to be anti-establishment. We were the weirdos. Mm-hmm. We were the weirdos, the kids in class who liked the stuff, and now we're mainstream. Yeah. I see moms wearing Flash shirts because they watch the CW Flash. Mm-hmm. Jocks, fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for jocks.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. But
yes,
okay.
It is.
It's not.
How is it not?
Because the stats and roles aren't the same. I get what you're saying, but I don't know if I would say it's Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. Like,
yes, it is.
No, because it's not like you're fighting a fantasy. No.
You hold on. Answer these questions.
Uh-huh.
When you play Dungeons and Dragons, are you actually a wizard fighting whatever it is, or is your character actually doing as you that person doing those things?
No.
And when you have a fantasy football team, is your team that you've created actually playing, or you actually just created a team with already?
They are playing.
They are playing.
Uh-huh.
With characters that did you generate any of these stats? No. It's something else that generated these things, and you are not controlling the outcome. The outcome is not in your hands, correct?
Right. Same
thing.
It's not.
That's
very reductive. That's not the same thing.
It's not that it's reductive. Fantasy football is just Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. It's the same thing. When you look at all of this stuff, they literally took to get fantasy base. It started with fantasy baseball. Mm-hmm. They literally took the little things that you were doing in Dungeons and Dragons and just applied it.
I don't feel like that's.
Go watch the 30 for 30.
Okay. Then I'll stand corrected, but I don't think that's.
I have the 30 for 30. You want to watch it?
You got it with you?
Well, I mean, inside the house.
Okay.
Or you could use, because you have Disney Plus and ESPN Plus.
I don't have ESPN Plus.
You didn't do the whole bundle thing?
No. We did the same thing.
Oh yeah.
We got the 3 years Disney Plus. I don't have ESPN.
Messing up, man.
Okay, great.
Either way,
you are.
I guess that's. But he's right. That stuff, we were the outsiders, and now this is mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's get to our last topic because you got to go.
Yeah, I don't.
This fool.
It's only 10 o'clock.
Mike Leroy, right? Fantasy football is D&D football. Both involve roles, stats, rules, and ask what if.
Kid from Chicago. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can co-sign. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't believe it.
You don't want to.
I'm playing fantasy football, and I don't know if I believe it.
Did you play Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes. I'm not rolling dice in fantasy football.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. I mean, they actually have to do stuff. But what you're saying is out of my control?
Yes.
All right, I guess. Anyway, I don't care. We talking about Nintendo.
You talk about Nintendo. I don't care.
Nintendo, man. What happened?
Broke your heart again, huh?
Not really broke my heart. I was just kind of like...
Let you down?
I wasn't shocked by anything, and maybe that let me down. I'm just like, Nintendo's going to be Nintendo. At the same time, I'll continue to buy all the Nintendo stuff because I love Nintendo.
So basically, you're in an abusive relationship with the...
with Nintendo?
With the Japanese company.
Possibly. They had a Nintendo Direct Thursday.
Because you said it let you down, but it didn't do anything different than what it's done before.
No, sometimes their directs are like, oh, this is incredible.
But what I'm saying is, but how often are they incredible and how often are they just this?
I would say I generally enjoy Nintendo Directs more than I don't like them.
Okay.
Yeah. But yesterday's was weird, and they're not the first company to do this, but they had a presentation where they alluded to more presentations coming down the road, which is, a lot of people do it, but it was a 40-minute presentation. They talked about a couple games. They said they're going to have the announcement for the final Smash Brothers character, which is cool. I guess you want that to be on its own because it's like the 82nd character of, I get 82 characters, the final character of 82 characters finally coming out after 3 years. That's supposed to happen October 5th. Then they had another announcement saying they're going to do another Nintendo Direct about Animal Crossing, but they don't know what the date is. They just want you to know it's coming. That's kind of weird. I feel like you could have just told us about later.
Is fantasy football Pokemon?
Is who what?
Fantasy football Pokemon.
Somebody said that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Would that make you feel better about it?
I mean, am I catching them all? I don't feel like you're catching other people. Because it's not like I can get every single player that I want.
No, but you are picking which Pokemon you want to have when you're.
Yeah, but in Pokemon, I have the opportunity to get all the Pokemons.
True,
but I can't get all the football players.
Yeah, but that's because you would have to play other football players.
But I'm saying I can't have you can have a Pikachu versus Pikachu. You can't have a Tom Brady versus Tom Brady. Not yet.
No, not yet. However, you do have that in daily fantasy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Is that what they were talking before?
In daily fantasy, you do have, so you pick your team, and then somebody else picks a team, and you can have the same players, and y'all are in a massive pool.
Okay.
So daily fantasy, like FanDuel, actually is Pokemon.
I think somebody else said DraftKings as well. So
there we go.
Okay. Thank you, chat. No, it was a really short talk about Nintendo. I don't know if anybody watched the Nintendo Direct. They did have an announcement about Bayonetta 3, which is kind of exciting.
I did see that.
It looks cool. It doesn't look great graphically.
Well, I mean, it's on Nintendo.
True. But as we've said before, art direction can really sell a game.
True, but
like Mario Kart 8 still looks great.
But
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still looks great.
True, but what I'm saying is Bayonetta was originally for what system?
Maybe like Xbox 360. Like the first Bayonetta.
So what I'm saying is it didn't look good because we've already seen where Bayonetta is, and we have an updated Bayonetta on PlayStation 4 and
do we?
Yep, because remember Vanquish and Bayonetta came when they did a remaster of them. Cool. So we have them, and so we know what it can look like on updated graphics.
Sure.
So that's why you're saying it doesn't look as good, because it's on the Switch. We already know what it looks like, what it can look like on next gen.
Yeah.
So you making Bayonetta 3 on an inferior system graphically.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, I'll still play it because the gameplay still looks fun. I'm worried about the frame rate. It's like it was dropping frames, although that could be the stream that we saw it on. I don't know. Again, this was a small little topic. I'm just curious if people are finally like, and I know they're not because Nintendo continues to make money, continues to sell Switches. It's still the #1 selling system over PS5 and Xbox. Granted, you can't find those, but Nintendo continues to be the #1 console every month. I just want Nintendo to do better. I don't think they will, but friend of the show, Nintendo, I want y'all to do better.
No. Not friend of the show.
Hey, they ain't said nothing wild.
I'm gonna break up your relationship with Nintendo because they hurt you too much.
Oh, you'll never break that into shit.
Because you keep going.
They keep
going back. You keep going back.
You know why? Because they keep putting out Legend of the Zelda Breath of the Wild games. They keep putting out Mario Odyssey games. I'll keep going back.
But it hurts you.
They did.
You can't keep doing this to yourself.
You
just told us about voting with our dollars.
Yeah, and I told you I was part of the problem. So I continue to be part of the problem.
We need to get you help.
I recognize what the problem is.
But you're not recognizing you need to change.
That's correct. I haven't hit that step yet in my 12 steps.
I got nothing.
There we go. That's it for us, folks. Thank you for being with us here for an hour or so of your time. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Had a good conversation today. A lot of people coming in and chatting.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for everybody who was expressing their opinions, and everybody kept it pretty civil in the discourse in the chat, which was great. I think it's cool that we're able to talk about stuff.
I love talking about it.
Whether we agree or not, I think it's cool. So we'll continue to do that.
Because I definitely, as we've proven, I definitely don't have the answers. I really would. I loved hearing from everybody else because I don't know.
Nintendo, baby, I've changed. Yes, you're right. They get me every time. What got you through the week?
Same thing. I didn't change. Warframe and Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
I'm almost done. I got 2 more seasons left.
Okay. I've been playing.
And comics.
Okay.
Comics.
I've been playing Psychonauts 2. I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, both on Xbox Series X, enjoying those a lot. Still watching Ted Lasso, enjoying Ted Lasso. I finally started watching For All Mankind. You told me about it when it first started. That's a really good show.
Ronald Moore, man.
That I'm enjoying that a lot. And Apple Plus, I think I might have talked about it before. They have a show called Tehran, based on a group of Israelis trying to infiltrate Tehran, and they're trying to get an agent out. It's an interesting concept, and it's not done all in English, so you actually have to pay attention, which I think is good. Makes your brain work a little bit. There are subtitles, but I think it's worth it. Cool show.
Apple TV dropped Morning Show and Foundation. I think
you sent it on PlayStation, Brian Gamer. I'll look it up because I haven't turned my PS5 on in a minute, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, so so I'm gonna try to watch Foundation. These 3 episodes that drop. I might try watching them tonight. Me and Grace tend to watch all of the Star Wars Visions, and that's what brought me to the whole J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter, that Star Wars finally figured out, hey, let's do a couple of Star Wars episodes in anime. And it was like, why hasn't Harry Potter done this? Like, imagine a wizarding duel in anime form. Like,
sure,
that would be badass.
Yeah.
So me and Grace, we're gonna try to watch all the episodes this weekend, and we're gonna try to have a review next week up.
D. Steezel says, I kind of forgot y'all stream was on Friday. That's why I was late. D. Steezel, we forgot it was on Friday too, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't always do it on Friday like we're supposed to because we don't always do it. We're trying to make, for anybody who's coming in late and doesn't know, we're going to try and, at least through the end of the football season, regular football season.
January.
Yeah, we should have a stream every Friday night. Past that, we'll figure something out. Something. I don't know. But yeah, so there we go.
So we're gonna still we're gonna try to do Star Wars Visions. Grace doesn't watch a lot of Star Wars, so it's gonna be interesting to see if this, is this a way to bring
an anime person
into the stories of Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested because some of the creators who have done these episodes about are some of the creators who've done anime that she likes. So let's see if those things translates, or vice versa. People who watch Star Wars who don't get an anime see this and like, oh, so that's that so and so creator. I'm interested to see that. We are going to do a Lower Decks review once the show is over. I'm enjoying Lower Decks.
I haven't started it yet.
Really?
Because at this point I was watching it all together. Because it's only 8 episodes, 10 episodes.
I think
at like 20 minutes a piece. I mean, I can do that. I can do that over the course of 3-4 hours.
So I like it. I know there's been some controversy. I know it's not for everybody, but again, that's one of those things that I thought that why is Harry Potter not doing this? Mm-hmm. And it seems like everybody else has kind of figured it out. But you might have answered the question.
You gotta get ready to get your own.
Oh, you just meant like take her out of the equation.
Well, don't even say it like that. That sounds even worse.
I thought you were like, we gotta rub that woman out.
It was like some black pill protocol.
I thought you was like Hitman and the lady. Like,
no,
you and Agent 47 got a plan.
No, I'm just like, you gotta
about to John Wick this lady.
You gotta let other people take over the franchise. On that, we're out. You can always find us here on YouTube when we post stuff. Also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com, and we're out.
Yep. Peace.